Ah yes, just in time when the average online in Helldivers dropped from 100k to 30, it is time to release the video completely missing the hype train. So, have you ever looked at the current state of affairs in the world with all the wars and cataclysms and thought to yourself, yeah, this is not enough? Well, in that case,
join the
Trophy Hunter, we're on a quest for fame. Gotta conquer every game, leave a mark in the Hall of Fame.
So, today we are diving into Helldivers 2, a game that appeared seemingly out of nowhere and dominated the market of multiplayer PvE. Well, at least for me, because for the love of all that is holy, I have never heard about Helldivers 1, and I won't pretend that I do, but apparently it was a nice niche game that had its own following. I have never heard about Arrowhead either, but it seems that they have also developed Magicka, and I played Magicka, albeit not for too long, but it's a fun game. And I guess eventually Sony came and just threw a dump truck of money at Arrowhead, and 9 years later, after the first part, we got Helldivers 2. So, as always on this channel, we will be aiming to complete the game to its full and gather all possible achievements. Of course, you cannot really complete the multiplayer game, and if you're watching this video and it's not 2024 anymore, then there is a big chance that there are more achievements now than it was when the game has been actually released. But nevertheless, I will try to get all achievements available at this particular time. But first, before we go for achievements, let's see what this game is about in the first place. And of course, if you are here solely for trophy hunting, you can skip to this timestamp. So, in the year of God knows when, as I think it doesn't really say anywhere what year it is, the humanity has expanded beyond the solar system and colonized a big chunk of the cosmos. And of course, with the new frontiers conquered, humanity also encountered new threats in the wake of hostile alien races that we must exterminate in order to defend
Super Earth, our home.
And we play as a Helldiver, an elite unit of Galactic Fleet, a one-man army capable of single-handedly eliminate thousands of adversaries in a single rocket barrage. The best of humanity's sons, a pinnacle of both physical, technological, and which is the most important, ideological extent of a human being. Liberty personified, democracy and justice embodied, a true Super Earth citizen. Yeah, and that is until the terminal that is used to call the extraction gets bugged and you get swarmed by the bugs with no hope to run. So, you may have noticed some similarities with Starship Troopers by this point. An awesome movie, by the way, that thanks to this game I have already rewatched a couple of times in the past few months. You know, for democracy.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I didn't do fucking shit.
And you can see that overall premise of the game is this interesting mix of dystopian propaganda, satire, Warhammer 40k and Starship Troopers. And you know what? This mix works really well. In fact, it works so well that the more you play, the more fun it gets with all the blatant propaganda poured from every corner of the screen. Starting from the intro movie and ending with the tips which appear during the loading screens. Being a multiplayer game, Helldivers doesn't have a story per se. The narrative, as community called it, is mostly communicated via the in-game missions and especially major orders that drive the focus of galactic war. So what's the narrative is all about? Well, basically we are fighting a never-ending galactic war, and that's that. Our enemies are either Terminates, bugs taken directly from the Starship Troopers, or automatons, a race of evil robots that seek to destroy humanity. Or is it? Well, yeah. Considering this is a tyrannical dystopia, we constantly get some clues on what is really going on. At some point you will take a closer look at that illegal broadcasting tower that you are ordered to eliminate, and you couldn't help but think,
Hans, are we the baddies?
And to be honest, I don't want to reveal too much of the small bits and pieces that the game throws at you occasionally. It is really fun to explore that gradually as you play. And especially I would suggest exhausting the dialogues of the 3 crew members on your ship. The main guy who kind of like the main propaganda guy, the technician lady, and the lady in the main hall. I don't really know what are their jobs on the ship, but if you talk with them, they say pretty interesting stuff. So yeah, give it a try. And speaking of gameplay, Helldivers is a great example of a multiplayer PvE shooter. You have your primary weapon, usually an assault rifle, but also could be a shotgun or a sniper rifle, and a secondary weapon, a sidearm in the form of a pistol, and of course, stratagems. Stratagems can come in the form of summonable equipment, various heavy weaponry from machine guns and rocket launchers to laser cannons and railguns. You can even summon a robot, which is like as durable as a cardboard box, but it's fun to play. You can also use stratagems to call in orbital bombardment in order to eliminate some bigger foes or large group of enemies. These also come in a variety of types. There are rocket barrages, orbital death laser, rail cannon snipes, napalm strikes, and everything in between. New stratagems and equipment are unlocked by leveling and saving up in-game currency. You get so-called medals for completing the missions, which unlock new armor and weapons, and new stratagems can be bought by the usual credits. And finally, there are also samples that you can gather during the missions. You can use those to upgrade your ship, and this will give you some permanent bonuses to your stratagems. But to be honest, I did not really notice a lot of changes. Like, I think the most useful one is that you can spawn with your weapons fully loaded, and like there is a question why your weapons are not fully loaded in the first place. Like, I mean, if you spawn without that particular upgrade, you will have like 3 out of 6 magazines in your assault rifle. But overall, there are small bonuses like 10% decrease that, 10% decrease damage, blah 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 blah. So yeah, but I don't really feel them inside the game. I don't really feel like I became stronger if I leveled up some particular upgrades. So yeah, but it's a interesting mechanic. Finally, there are missions, and missions come in 2 basic types, 40-minute ones and 15-minute ones. And there is actually a lot of different missions, and my favorite one is launching the ICBM. Basically, you have to fuel up and input the codes to launch a big ass nuke, and then you will see an awesome nuclear mushroom, you know, rising from above the horizon, because like you really launch that. And I think the least favorite mission is the emergency evacuation, where you have to evacuate civilians, because those guys, they bug out like 9 out of 10 times. Usually they would just, you know, stumble upon some kind of an obstacle and they will be just standing there. I had a mission where there was like 5 or 10 guys just standing behind the corner of the evacuation point where they actually have to go. So they just bugged out and they were just standing there. And of course they were like mauled down by the barrage of rockets or bullets from the automatons or something like that. So yeah, it's the most buggy mission, and when you play with other people, almost nobody picks that mission, never. And missions themselves are aggregated into operations. Basically, there are 3 missions in one region. With the completion of each consecutive mission, you would receive more rewards. And also completing the whole operation in one difficulty will unlock the next difficulty, and you will progress like that until you reach the maximum difficulty, which is level 9, the Helldive. The gameplay loop is quite entertaining, I would say, especially when you play with your friends. There are, of course, a lot more to discuss, but we will get to some special parts of the gameplay further down the Platinum Brick Road. So with that being said, let's jump right into the actual game. So, Helldivers Platinum is marked as fairly challenging, with difficulty score of 6 out of 10 on PSN profiles. To be completely honest, looking at the trophy list, it did not occur to me as very hard. I think the whole difficulty rating comes from the fact that it is a multiplayer game, which means that you have to cooperate with real people and communicate with them.
No. Wait.
The game contains 39 achievements, including the Platinum itself, and I would like to separate them into 2 types. The fun part and the grind part. The fun part mostly contains achievements that you will get by just playing the game, and sooner or later they will pop up with little to no effort. And the grind part, well, we will get to it later. So finally, let's don our Helldiver cape and jump right in. So we start the game and complete the tutorial mission that grants us our cape.
Galactic war, liberty, democracy, justice.
From this point we get our own super destroyer ship and can undertake real missions starting from trivial difficulty. Since I got the super citizen package together with the game, I was able to change my Helldiver into the premium looking armor and get a strapping young lad achievement. So finally, it's time to dive into a real mission with other people and, well, speaking about no effort achievements, we just so happened to have extracted at night and I got this achievement for doing so together with the Bug Stomper for completing my first bug mission.
Today you carved another foot in a long climb to liberty.
And at some point I ended up on a mission with the guy and we had a blast of a time together, completing side objectives and chatting along the way. I even managed to heal him completely by accident by hitting the wrong button and actually got an achievement for that.
No diver left behind.
So here we are, completed the objective, cleared the whole map, ready to extract, and I input the code and nothing happens. The terminal just freezes with no timer started for the extraction. It is clear that Liberty has abandoned us on this godforsaken planet, but we did not succumb to the despair. With no additional stratagems and revives, we shot every bullet from every weapon and killed as many bugs as we can before blowing ourselves up with the last grenades. It was a great honor spreading democracy with you, my friend.
If they could speak, I know our hero.
But eventually I also got the achievement for killing 150 enemies in one mission, so all this was not in vain. But yeah, bugs, most as enemies and as coding bugs, are basically a part of your gameplay. A lot of people are raging about this, but I'm okay with an occasional bug, to be honest, if it doesn't really crash the game. I stopped counting the times I got clipped into the wall by an explosion, and by the way, did you know that there is a pelican hidden under every extraction zone? What did they mean by this? Oh, wait a second, my democracy officer is calling. Yes? Hello?
Fatality.
So from this point I also start looking at some achievements that require at least some effort to complete. One of these is about killing a charger bug with a supply pod. I thought it would be quite challenging, but it appears that if you throw the resupply pod correctly, it will stick to the charger and you will get a free kill. It also helps if the charger just decides to bug out and run into a wall. Next, for the long arm of justice, I also happened to kill an enemy from more than 100 meters away. And at the same time there will be a couple of achievements that I haven't even tried doing because they popped up simply because someone in my team did it and I wasn't even close to that location. But, you know, nice. And finally, we managed to extract the mission after the timer has reached 0 and got the next achievement.
Liberty has seen you.
And here I started to notice how to play this game properly. You see, there are no bonuses or any benefits that depend on how many enemies you have killed. I lost count on how many times me and the teammates were just stuck at one place constantly fighting off new enemy reinforcements and losing respawns by dying, when in fact it doesn't really make sense. What makes sense is actually completing the objective, so from certain point whenever my team got stuck in one place and was locked in a useless fight, I just ran away and tried to complete the nearest objective. And it seems that the game works in such a way that if there is a big fight going on somewhere on the map, other locations will be more or less calm. That way, there were a couple of times when I managed to complete like 80% of the mission firsthand, while my teammates were like fighting bugs constantly at some block post. I even started using like a stealth armor and a sniper rifle because it actually kind of helps if you are trying to go solo. And I even got kicked a couple of times for not helping, and when I tried to explain my strategy that you guys are just fighting there losing respawns and I'm already completed like 3 sub-objectives, the guys just told me that I have to learn how to play a multiplayer game, that this is a team effort, so yeah. And from this point I decided that it's finally time to fight against bots, since I was playing mainly bug missions before that. And damn, at first glance, bots are much harder than bugs. The first thing that you notice is that bots are actually shooting at you. Bugs also have ranged attacks, but those are quite slow and there's basically like one type of a bug that can do it. And with bots, all of them have guns. lasers, rocket launchers, everything. So catching a rocket with a face out of nowhere became a routine thing for me. In any case, we managed to defeat the Hulk, one of the strongest bot enemies.
Helldiver, you are moving outside the mission area.
Freedom spread yet further. Extract when ready.
Calling in.
If they could speak, I know our heroes would not have us mourn their loss, but rejoice in their victory.
At some point I also get injured in all limbs and fly more than 25 meters from an explosion, getting 2 more achievements for that.
ATA T-minus 20 seconds.
I also start playing with my good friend name not found 404 and we have some quality time. I even get the achievement for doing an assisted reload when we decide to blast some bugs with autocannons.
You will never destroy our way of life!
Finally, we also play a planet defense mission which only appears during special major orders.
Victory was never in doubt.
I also get, let's call it a draw achievement, where you are supposed to shoot off both arms on a Hulk and exfiltrate. But to be honest, this achievement just popped up out of nowhere. It seems that I just got lucky that somehow, somewhere, we managed to leave an armless Hulk alive.
Victory was never in doubt.
Finally, before we jump into some grinding, I get the last of the easy achievements out of the way. I get the achievement for completing 10 optional objectives. We extract with a full squad on a hard difficulty,
Another victory for the right side of history.
and I kill a warrior bug with a shotgun from less than 1 meter away.
Calling in orbital strike.
And eventually my kill count rises to 5,000 killed enemies, so I also get an achievement for that. And lastly, I get this awesome shot at the Bile Titan.
You have been a
And I know you can't see him much, but man, this was my first Bile Titan and it felt awesome to bring him down single-handedly. Yeah, and then when you level up and you are playing on Helldive difficulty, you have to fight like 75 Bile Titans at the same time, and it doesn't feel like an achievement anymore. But I like the sense of, you know, of the progression. It's pretty cool. And from here we go to the achievements that actually require some effort, and the first one of those is the hot potato, where you have to actually throw the grenade back to the bots. It's not really super hard, but like if there wasn't an achievement like that, I probably wouldn't even know that you can do this.
How about a night?
I also get an achievement for completing 50 missions successfully
Another victory for the right side of
and embrace my inner Rambo by firing at least 150 rounds in one burst and killing at least 10 enemies.
Reinforcing!
And we also go for kill it with fire, and this one requires you to kill 100 enemies using fire damage. And this is also quite fun. Flamethrower is a cool weapon, especially against bugs. Just be mindful of friendly fire, pun very much intended, because you will kill some of your teammates with that flamethrower, and you will be killed by your teammates using the flamethrower, and you will be kicked for that. So yeah, just prepare that with a big flamethrower comes a lot of responsibility.
Calling in reinforcements.
ETA T-minus 10 seconds.
And for the grindy part of that platinum journey, there are 2 achievements that require you to gather a certain amount of samples and extract with them. So there is one achievement for extracting 15 basic samples and an achievement for extracting 15 rare samples. And I was doing this achievement solo because you actually can go to a lower tier missions like that are quite easy to complete solo, especially when you have nice stratagems and good equipment, so it's not going to be a problem for you. It takes some time, like you probably will will need to go through the whole map. It will take you maybe 15, maybe 20, maybe 25 missions. But it's pretty doable. Just make sure not to drown, because before doing that, I didn't even know that you can drown in Helldivers 2. And I was actually going to the extraction point already. I had like maybe 20 something basic samples or rare samples, I don't really remember. And I drowned. And when I came back to pick up my samples, I realized that I cannot do this because the samples are at the bottom of the lake. So don't be like me, don't do this, and be very careful when you are carrying your samples.
Victory will never prevail.
And one more achievement that I did solo was hold my primary, I'm going in, which requires you to complete at least a hard difficulty mission without using your primary weapon. And it sounds difficult, but actually it's not that difficult, because at higher difficulties your primary weapon doesn't really change much. Like, you mostly use stratagems to kill enemies, you occasionally use grenades, of course, but primary weapon, well, it is very situational, I would say. So it took me a couple of tries, but I managed to do this, and all the times that I failed to do this is that I just basically accidentally fired the weapon. Especially if you die, when you respawn, you get your primary weapon automatically in your hand by default. So if you are spawning in the middle of the fight, you can easily fire your primary weapon accidentally, and that's what I did almost at the extraction point, so this was very rage inducing. But yeah, it's not as hard as you might think.
Victory was never in doubt.
Also, we have an achievement that is called Hold My Liberty, which requires you to get knocked into a ragdoll state while using the jetpack. And on the contrary, it's not as easy as you think, because I thought that while using the jetpack I can just ram myself into a wall and get knocked into a ragdoll state and get the achievement. But naturally, you probably have to get blown to pieces by a automaton rocket while using the jetpack to get this achievement. But what I did is I would just throw the grenade and try to time the grenade explosion with my jetpack to be right above it, and I would get knocked into the ragdoll state. So this is how I did this. But yeah, you can probably get it naturally, but I just decided to do this on purpose and be done with this achievement. Next, I grind enough samples to reach the max rank in one ship module. it took me some time, but you know, you get samples more or less, so if you focus on one ship module, you will eventually get it. And of course, we also did 100 missions, and by this point, I'm a veteran Helldiver, and I've seen it all. I've seen bugs, both real bugs and coding bugs, boats, explosions, and I defended the Liberty across the galaxy. And I have to say, at this point, I'm just addicted to this game, and I'm playing almost every day. I'm hooking up my friends, I'm messaging everybody like, hey guys, let's defend some democracy, like what's up, super citizens and stuff like that. So I'm like fully invested by this point.
They gave their last breath.
And finally, it comes down to the last 3 achievements that require you to basically have the whole team. And it should be the team of people who are either also doing this achievement or the team of your friends who are willing to help you. So the first achievement is called the Hell Dive. To do this achievement, you have to complete an extreme difficulty mission without anyone dying. Well, yeah, I think this is the hardest achievement in the game. So I found a couple of other guys and we eventually did this, and it was quite thrilling.
Another victory for the right side of history.
And to be honest, after we did this, I also thought to myself that I would do this again. And I mean, it would be great if the game would have this kind of like permadeath missions, like where you have only like 4 respawns or like 1 respawn per player, and that would require you to be like more cautious and stuff like that. But I think it would be quite cool, like an extreme mode, like, or a permadeath mode. So yeah. Arrowhead, if you are watching this, take notes. And the next mission is called Gun in 360 seconds, which requires you to complete a blitz mission in 6 minutes or less. And the main catch here is that you are actually have to complete mission in around maybe 4 minutes, because you also need to extract, and extraction takes like 2 minutes or like 1 minute and a half. So you have to take this into the account. But after maybe 3 or 4 tries, we managed to do this, and yeah, awesome.
You have maintained our way of...
And finally, we also throw 6 orbital barrage stratagems in the same place at the same time. And yeah, this is just a fun achievement. It's clearly an overkill, but it's an overkill in the best possible way. And finally we are at the last achievement of our platinum journey. And with this achievement we actually need to upgrade all ship modules at least one level. And yeah, this is just a grind because you have to gather a lot of samples to upgrade the ship, especially you have to get a lot of basic samples. And for me it was actually an awesome achievement to do because I was just playing the game, I was just enjoying myself. At this point I was like super invested and I played every day for the next couple of weeks, just slowly accumulating all the needed samples, and eventually upgraded my ship and got the achievement, and I got the platinum as well. So wow, awesome. And there you have it, folks. We've gone through the grind, the glory and the sheer chaos of Helldivers 2. And I have to say, this game is a wild ride from start to finish. I would easily give this game an 8 out of 10 just for the sheer amount of fun that I got. And actually for the opportunity to go back to the multiplayer scene, because I haven't played any multiplayer games for like 5 or 7 years, and wow. This is just awesome. And for the platinum journey itself, I would give it 7 out of 10 on the satisfaction rating. There's a lot of cool achievements, and there's also a lot of achievements that actually you don't need to do anything. And I would say it would be good if they tweaked it. So for example, if in order to get the achievement for clearing the stalker nest, you have to actually clear the stalker nest personally, not one of your teammates or something. So that would be great. But other than that, awesome game, an awesome platinum, and I'm surely going to be playing Helldivers 2 occasionally for months and months. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and check out my other videos, please, because I don't get any views whatsoever. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments, and stay tuned for more content. And of course, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, stay platinum. Cheers.